in the most loving, benevolent way I can think of. All right. What's next? We're in a new decade, right? It's 2020. Because I couldn't fucking tell. When 20 years ago, I was a young man. You don't need to know my age. You know I'm old as fuck. But I was a young man, a younger man. It's all about what you think in your head. But I was a younger man. And I would always see these movies and things where, you know, technology was the shit. You remember Back to the Future with the hoverboard and Minority Report with the Bluetooth and all that shit. Which I do think they have now. But you know what they don't have? You know what they don't fucking have right now? Look, listen to me. Do you know what we don't have yet? On the next episode, we'll talk about that and we'll know what that we don't have in the future. I got to learn how to do these fucking commercials. Like, that was a terrible transition. But you know what? You still listening? You want to know what they don't have, right? Can you guess? I won't leave you hanging anymore. We ain't got no motherfucking flying cars. Nobody finds that strange. But you know what? I did see a meme that said we couldn't handle flying cars because people can't even fucking drive on the street. All these damn car accidents and speeding and shit. People on their phones. You can't do that shit in the air. A dude like me be dropping my Swisher contents out on the fucking skies and ashing my blunt out the window. So, did we fuck ourselves out of flying cars? I hope not. Because if I look, no matter how old I am, and I'm going to tell my son this tomorrow, no matter how old I get, you better let me have a motherfucking flying car. I'm going to crash into everything. Yes, this is true. But I refuse to be alive just to watch you drive a flying car, and I can't. That's fucked up. And I told you my New Year's resolution. That's gonna be forever now, man. But yeah, where's all the future shit? Like, shouldn't we have like teleportation in spaceships? Should we not be able to like be in space now? Aliens really not fucking with us. Really not fucking with us. And I mean, would you come down here if America was a thing? And don't get me wrong, there are other shitty places and shitty people around the world. Just the humans are shitty in general. So no, this isn't a bash America thing. People are shitty. Humans are shitty. The great majority of humans will do shit. If they think they can get away with it, they will do it. My faith in humanity is... No, I can't even say that. I go back and forth, but the alternative is depressing to think that at some point the good does not outweigh the bad. Like, people don't get better and smarter and know the old way we used to do things can't be done that way. But then you got people who think global warming is a farce. You got people who think governments are really for the people. You got people who think colors matter. You got people who think who you choose to love and have sex with matter. In the grand scheme of things, none of that shit means shit. And to me, it's saddening that we have not been able to figure that out yet. When I say we, I mean the 99%. That the whole game is structured around us fighting with each other about me being black and you being a cop, or them being trans or gay. All this arbitrary bullshit. When in general, life is a spectrum and there's not... The only thing I will say... No, I'm not going to get into the big rant about morality. It's just, you know what's right and you know what's wrong. But I forget the philosopher, and it's not. Is it Machiavelli? Where basically just do what thou wilt. Now that's a Luciferian thing, but again, if none of this shit matters, which humans quite often act like it does not, regardless of what their religious beliefs are, if you're still being a horrible person, then you're adhering to the notion that none of this shit matters and there's no ripple effects to your actions. And I used to think like that. I used to think you just die. When you're dead, it's done. There's no hell. There's no heaven. I still don't really believe in that notion as far as heaven and hell and or religion. I believe in your energy is just, I believe in reincarnation. Whatever that may be into, a human, an entity, a animal, whatever that may be, that's what I believe. Your energy just goes somewhere else. But if you're an alien, are you going to really come down here trying to give us new technology and shit that we can fuck up the planet with? I'm sure they got some shit that you can open up black holes, drive through portals and shit. And they probably do that. All that weird shit, ghosts and shit you think you're seeing is probably just a alien manifesting in another realm that you can't witness because us dumb fuck humans are the south of the planets. Or the galaxy, sorry. We are the Florida of the galaxy. Earth is. While there are good people in Florida, I'm sure. Yeah, the majority of y'all, you know. So we're probably not going to get no future shit is what I'm saying. No flying cars for David. I can't never have no nice things. Like grammar. God damn it. But who knows? Maybe things will change and life will start looking up for little old Dave. Okay, we have reached the second part of my favoriteest part of Hotbox the Podcast. And this is going to be our second smoke break. So, you know what to do. I got to say it? Okay, I feel like I do. Grab your bongs. Grab your pipes, get your yoga mats, get your jump ropes, pet your dog, let out the cat, or let the cat out, whatever the fuck is, however you do it. And join me in the collective universal smoke. Namaste. This episode's how to is 8 tips on how to deal with gaslighting. I picked this one because before the year ended, I had an epiphany. I was in a situation dealing with a person. Person shall go unnamed. But I usually argue with this person, and every time I would argue with them, I would feel like I'm fucking nuts. I gotta be nuts because one of us is crazy, and I felt like I can't be wrong all the fucking time. That's impossible. That in the grand scheme of life, I'm just tripping and I'm all these things. And usually this person likes to nag at my character. So I told myself, fuck that. You don't think I'm a good person? That's on you. And because I've gotten older and I've learned people mirror or project rather their shortcomings onto you. And when you are starting to show growth, those who want to live in misery will make it seem like you're not a good person because you're trying. Like you can't be a good person because you have a fucked up past, essentially. And they will keep you mired in the past and how fucked up you were and treat your every other endeavor as if it will have that same outcome. And I started to think, no, I don't have to live in that space. I don't have to live in that headspace because that's what you think. Who are you? As long as my son's straight, as long as I can look him in the eye and know I tried my best, as long as my parents look at me like I'm trying my best, I don't give a fuck what nobody think. And that was my epiphany. And then that prompted me to think that maybe I'm not tripping. And this is what brought me to gaslighting. So that's what we're talking about today. 8 tips on how to deal with gaslighting. The article can be found on idealcatalogs.com under a section called Girls Talk, I think. Anyway, so we're going to read the article right now because I think this is important, and don't let people do this shit to you. Fuck that. So here we go. Gaslighting is an abusive manipulation technique where a loved one manipulates someone in order to convince them that they, the abuser, are in fact not abusive and that the victim was in the wrong all along. It is about altering their perspective and making them question what is reality / the truth. Think Mother Gothel from Rapunzel. Even though Gothel was the one who shouted at Rapunzel about the lanterns and mocked her, she phrased her following comments in a way that made Rapunzel feel guilty for having even spoken in the first place. Gaslighters use that guilt as a weapon to cast doubt on their victims' claims and confuse them enough that they can cast them as an unreliable source, preventing them from trusting their own judgment in the future. Though gaslighting can be tricky to spot, this article will act as a guide to anyone who feels as though they are being manipulated by a loved one. Note, the best thing you can do in this situation is to remove yourself entirely and cut contact. If this is not possible, the guide can help you keep what is real and what is tricky straight until cutting ties is possible. If the abuse escalates or includes physical, emotional, or other types of violation, seek help immediately. I implore you guys, we ain't taking none of that bullshit. Get your help. Number 8, accept that someone is gaslighting you. It is hard to accept the idea that someone you love is hurting you, but sometimes the people around us do not have our best interests at heart. For the sake of transparency, this writer has dealt with gaslighting firsthand, and the biggest step is simply accepting that it is happening. If you find that you constantly feel guilt around this person and that you can never do anything right, you may be being gaslit. If you find yourself regretting even bringing something up or feel like you cannot express any negative emotion without it coming right back at you and you being to blame, you may be gaslit. Now, in all fairness and honesty, when you smoking that shit, it happens. In all honesty, I'm guilty of that one. I have been. Well, and that's how I noticed it was being done to me. When I am, for me, it depends. I'm open to criticism if it's constructive. And I won't gaslight you in the way that what you're saying is not right. My gaslighting is more, I don't feel like hearing that shit. Like, I won't say I'm not doing it. I'll just say, God, why are you always fucking talking about it? If you don't like what I'm doing, let's not be in each other's lives, romantically or friendship, however that manifests. But yeah, you have to accept it. Acceptance is the word of the year this year, guys. Number 7 is review the situation from an external perspective. A good way to see if one is being manipulated is to stand in front of a mirror, recount your stories and worries, and listen to your words as if someone else was speaking. Make no justifications and no self-deprecations. Just state the outright facts and how being around this person makes you feel. The distance from the topic that taking an external perspective makes will allow you to remove the guilt from the situation and see it from a relatively unbiased point of view. Remember, if your friend came to you with the same issue, would you tell them that it was their fault or would you blame the person hurting them? Victim blaming, we got to leave that shit in 2019, guys. You do fucked up shit. We all do. So for you guys who are doing this shit, have some accountability. We all fuck up. There's nothing wrong with fucking up. What's wrong is not admitting the fuck up and trying to correct the behavior. And that's what I was going to say, going back to number 8, where it said, if you find that you can constantly feel guilt around this